Hello there. I am Dr. Jill Diana Chasse, and I'm a pregnancy counselor, perinatal psychology consultant, health administrator, and an author. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about some of my books. My first book that I'd like to share a little bit about is the one that brought me to this book festival today. This is my Sterling publication, Babysitter Survival Guide. And this book is a guide for adolescents who are learning how to babysit. It's also for parents. It's also for school teachers, for doulas, as it focuses on early education for infants, for toddlers, for children all the way through school age. And it's a blend of child development and psychology, as well as business development, to help young sitters learn about getting the job, about working on resumes, about interviews, and then pouring more into actually babysitting and learning about emergencies and crafts and art and lots of things that come up with the job. So I'll tell you first a little bit about the book. The Babysitter Survival Guide is literally that, a guide. Has tabs. It makes it pretty easy to find different things that go on. For the first tab, for example, it's how to run your business. And there is actually child safety sheets that talk about what to fill out. You can rip them out of the book. You can use them when you go babysitting. And there is a little pocket in the back of the book, so you can take it with you and have it be your guide. In the beginning, there's also some parts about things getting the job. For example, it gives you a template for your resume, gives you some cut-out business cards, and you can use them and pass them out. And it gives you an example of a sign that you can post in your local grocery store or child development center. And so, again, this book talks a little bit about different things, from everything from the interview, dressing the part, all the way through to activities. So I am going to talk about one of the activities today. And that activity is called What's That Cloud? Now, if anybody would like to play What's That Cloud, we will pass out a marker and a paper and show you how easy it is to sit down with kids you're babysitting for and do this fun activity. And all you need, again, is a piece of paper, a crayon, a marker, anything pretty simple. You know how you can look up at the clouds and see pictures and use your imagination to find objects? Well, you know, you could do that on paper, too. Take a crayon, a marker, or a pen. Draw a bunch of twisted, twirly, loopy, scribbly lines on that sheet of paper. Then sit down with the child and see if the two of you can find things together. Here, let me show you an example. Take your paper. You don't even have to look. Just kind of scribble around, twisty lines. And it doesn't look like much. But you know what? It is much. Just like you can look in the clouds and find that cloud looks like a balloon, that one looks like a butterfly, that one looks like a race car. You can do the same thing with a picture. And it's fantastic for children who are 2, 3, 4 years old, who are not drawing specific items and objects yet. So look at this. This one is a balloon. And this one over here, oh, that's definitely a fish. Look at that. All you have to do is outline it, bloop, 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 and it looks like a fish. And not only are they using their imagination, you're doing an activity with them that they can share, show their parents, and show their creativity. So it's easy, and it's exciting, and you don't need that many objects to do it. There's some other things in the book that have some extra objects you might want to do for if you're babysitting for a while and you have more time, such as the touch and feel book. This is a fun activity. It takes a little bit more time. You need a variety of different textured materials, such as cotton balls, scraps of velvet, aluminum foil, sandpaper, dried leaves, things you can just find around the house or in the backyard. You'll also need some construction paper, crayons, scissors, and a stapler or glue to make the book. You set out the paper and help the child glue on different textures to different pages. Let the pages dry, staple them together, take a piece of tape and put it over the staples so they don't hurt themselves, and then write a description under each page. For example, aluminum foil, shiny or smooth. You can use the cotton ball, soft, fluffy. And you can even go further and draw a little lamb around the cotton ball and say, look, lambs are fluffy. And they can and then encourage the children to feel the objects and talk about what he or she notices. When you're done, add a blank sheet to the cover, and if the child's old enough to write her name, write blanks book and have them fill in their own name. If they're too young, you can help them write it and hold it up and say, you know what? This is Malachi's book. This is Ava's book. This is Michael's book. And they can open it up anytime they want and talk about what they feel, all the different textures, and the different things that they see. And so you made them something special. So again, this book is filled with different activities. There are things about time to eat. Talk about when you're a babysitter, sometimes you have to make dinner or lunch. So there's a little bit about sanitation. Make sure you clean your hands before you cook. I talk about safety. Make sure you're prepared in the kitchen. Don't have the children around the stove. And then I also have fun stuff, like snacks. How do you make banana pops? You take some sprinkles, some diced nut topping, some shredded coconut, mini marshmallows, chocolate chips, bananas, and wooden popsicle sticks. Sprinkle a few teaspoons of each topping on a plate. Children love this because they can dip things in. Put a handful of chocolate chips in a bowl, microwave-safe bowl, and put it in for about 1 to 2 minutes. Mix it with one of the chocolate sticks. Unpeel a banana. Put a wooden stick through one end of the banana. Make sure the chocolate is still warm and soft, but not too hot. Then have the child dip her banana into the chocolate and roll it into whatever toppings they want to. So it's fun sometimes to put different colored sprinkles on or put some nuts on, and then you stick it in the fridge. Or if you want, you could stick it in the freezer and make a frozen ice pop. It's usually ready in about half hour to 2 hours, depending on how hard you want it. So not only did you do a craft with them, you also made a snack. So there's lots of other things in the book that's like that. And then it gets a little bit more into detail in child development and child psychology. My background is I have a master's of child development and psychology, and I focus a little bit on the actual background of infants, toddlers, different things that they learn, different ways they interact, talking about their cognitive health, their psychosocial health, talking about how you can work with them on their fine motor skills, coloring and cutting, on their gross motor skills, running and jumping, and different things that really help them grow and they really enjoy. And towards the end of the book, we've got some special circumstances. We talk about extra care. For example, sometimes you may be asked in your babysitting career to watch a child with special needs or different abilities, such as a hearing problem, autism, a learning disability. Remember that you should be open to working with lots of different kids, but make sure you are comfortable first. So you talk a little bit about, in this book, communication. I talk about behavior and different ways we can deal with behavior of different children. And again, how important communication is with the parent. Because you may have a child who has a certain disability and you can't put them in thinking time because it doesn't mean the same thing. So make sure, as a babysitter, you talk to the parent, you understand their needs and your needs, and you work together as a team. And finally, at the end of the book, we do talk a little bit about circumstances that may come up, such as a storm or nightmares or some things that may scare children and how best to deal with them. So again, this Babysitter Survival Guide is literally that, a survival guide you can bring with you to all babysitting trips. You can use as a camp counselor, you can use as a child development teacher, or even as a parent. So that is the Babysitter Survival Guide. And I want to talk a little bit more about some of the other books that kind of led into that. I've got some more background with maternal child health. Yes, Malachi, that's right. And this is my son, Malachi. Come here. You want to come up? I want to talk about one of the books that he and I wrote together. This is called Mommy's Lap. Here you go. Hold up your Mommy's Lap book. and talk about encouraging writing and reading for children, this is a book that he wrote himself when he was about 4 years old. Now Malachi is, how old are you? 5.5. That's right. And this is a book, Mommy's Lap, is a charming story by a little boy about his mommy's pregnancy and home water birth of his baby sister. Watch their love grow as he bonds with her in the womb and learns how to share his mommy's lap. And so this story is a good way for both children to help understand the introduction of a new sibling. As a counselor and as a perinatal psychology consultant, I've worked a lot with parents and introductions of siblings, and it really helps to relieve the stress in a family, and it helps with the family bonding when during pregnancy you introduce that new sibling to the child. It significantly reduces a lot of the rivalry that you would see otherwise, as well as the mental health disorders that may come up with the mother. By preventing that, with the family bonding and the understanding, it reduces the stress. And again, reducing the stress mitigates a lot of the risk that is there for family stress and potentially perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. And the last book that I would like to talk about today is called Womb Wonders. And again, this one is a little bit back to pregnancy. And this is one that my little boy right here was in my womb as I wrote this one. Now, Womb Wonders is a guide for moms and babies during pregnancy, as there have been many guides for a mother during pregnancy to help her physically, emotionally, and spiritually. But Womb Wonders does this for the baby. So the activities in this guide, and again, it's another guide similar to the Babysitter's Guide, but this guide, and come here, little girl, this guide is about the child in the womb. Because when they're in the womb, there are many activities, blessings, and ceremonies that you can involve your child in. So just to give you a little quick rundown, this book talks about, in the introduction, the different kinds of things that you can involve your children with while they're still in your womb. During pregnancy, this guide talks about relaxations, massage, yoga, dance, aquatics, and art activities just like this, because when they're in your womb, you could do art activities. There are different things that help to stimulate them and help to prepare them for birth. Working through relaxations, working through exercises together, readings, blessings, prayers, ceremonies, and rituals. So again, Womb Wonders, 10 Moons of Magic, is a book of activities, blessings, and ceremonies for you and your baby before birth.
Where's my book?
You can take that one.
Where's my book?
Well, I wanted to thank everybody for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the activities from the Babysitter Survival Guide and the activities in the womb, right? Because you know what? This little baby and lots of other babies in the whole wide world you can interact with during pregnancy, and you learn more about them. Yes, that's right.
What's that?
That is a microphone, and you learn more about life, and they become more outgoing, and it helps reduce the risk of any mental health issues for most the mother, the family, and the child. So again, thank you for coming today and listening to me talk, and I really appreciate your time. And if you'd like any more information about the Babysitter Survival Guide, or any more information about perinatal psychology, or any of the other books in maternal child health, perinatal wellness that I've written, look to www.magicofmotherhood.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day.